makers, welcome to the AGF Quilt Block collection. Raise your hand if you're a half square triangle fanatic like me. I remember back to when I first started quilting, and I remember half square triangles being one of the first quilting techniques I learned. But what I didn't know at the time was that half square triangles are such a fundamental building block in quilting because it could be used to create so many different quilt designs. Today, I'm celebrating my love for piecing half square triangles, and I'm sewing up the Windmill Block, featuring the bold colors and boho designs of Pat Bravo's new fabric collection called Legendary. Stay tuned to the end of the video to see some half square triangle magic.
If you're new to our channel and love learning new quilting techniques, don't forget to subscribe below to watch more fun sewing tutorials like this one. Check out the description box below to find all the cutting requirements and step-by-step instructions. To create 8 half square triangles with fabric A and E, take a 4 3/4 square from both fabrics. Place right sides together and draw 2 diagonal lines on the back of your squares to form an X. Then sew on both sides of the diagonal lines at 1/4 inch. To reveal your half square triangles, cut on both diagonal lines. Then cut squares vertically in half and horizontally in half. You will now have 8 half square triangles. Repeat this process with your remaining 4 3/4 inch squares from fabric B, C, D, and E. Trim your half square triangles to 2 inches. Now we can create 2 4-patch blocks with your 2-inch squares. Repeat this same process with your other half square triangles from fabric B, C, and D. Take one 2.5 inch square from fabrics A, B, C, and D, and place the E square on top. Using a fabric marking pen, mark a diagonal line across the wrong side of the fabric. Now it's time to create our half square triangles within a half square triangle unit. Take your 2 1/4 inch squares from fabric E and cut in half on the diagonal. Sew your triangle pieces to your half square triangles to create 4 triangle units that look like this. To complete your half square triangles within a half square triangle, take your 3 7/8 squares from fabric A, B, C, and D. Cut in half on the diagonal. You will only need one of each triangle, so save the extras for a different project. Sew your triangles to your coordinating triangle units to get 4 units. Now we need to make 4 more units. Take your 2 1/4 inch squares from fabric A, B, C, and D and cut in half on the diagonal. Sew your coordinating triangle pieces to your half square triangles to create 4 triangle units that look like this. Take your 3 7/8 squares from fabric E and cut in half on the diagonal. Sew your triangles to your triangle units to get your remaining 4 units. Now we have all the units to create our block. Place your same fabric blocks together to create a 4-patch block that looks like this. Repeat this same process with your remaining units to get 4 blocks. Sew your 4 blocks together, making sure seams are pressed in alternating directions so your seams will nest nicely into place, and your windmill block is complete. Make sure to share your quilt block creations made with AGF fabrics on social media using the hashtag AGF Quilt Block Collection.
Our windmill block is complete, and I love using the 8 at a time method because it really does save me a ton of time when I need to make a bunch of half square triangles. This nice 12-inch finished block looks great set on point, or just as is. Now the question is, what should I turn this block into? Leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Our new fabric project catalog is out, and it's packed full of the most yummiest quilting projects and sewing patterns. So to check it all out, make sure to check out the link in the description box below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Until next time, happy sewing. And I remember, there's a lot to say. I'm winded. It does save me a ton of times when I need to make saves me a ton of times. It saves me a ton of time because you can make a whole bunch of half square triangles very easily with just 2 pieces of fabric. Trim vertically and horizontally. And wha-bam! You get 8 at a time half square triangles. And actually pretty neat. I'm not sure who invented this method, but thank you so much. So what's your favorite way to make half square triangles? Let me know in the comments below.